Hey guys, you ever noticed how when some guys meet a woman once and you just notice that she's just nonstop thinking about him and what she's actually doing is, having conversations in her head. She's stalking his Instagram or online presence, Googling his name, checking her phone, just wondering when he's going to text. And you also notice that kind of guy that can create that kind of tension, he's not really all that interested. He's calm, he's confident, he's detached. And that's that kind of combination that you want to try and create of attraction and uncertainty. It's what really drives a woman crazy. And, what I want to break down today is 5 steps that you can use to really get a woman obsessed with you. So let's just get right into it. And if you don't know, I'm Jimmy Reese. I have a program called the Magnetic Method, and you should check it out in the link if you find the info helpful. Get on our email list. So the first step is, and to create the obsession, let's just be frank, she's got to like you a little bit first, okay? And a lot of guys can get to that point, but you can't overfeed the flame, okay? So some initial chemistry matters, but not too much. And it just lets her wonder, does he like me? Okay. And how much? So the scarcity of not showing all your cards too soon is really what's going to drive this emotional tension. And the guys that can do that don't overinvest. They continue to try and create curiosity. And that can, assigns value to your attention because it is scarce. You should be busy. You should be working on your own self, and not just focused on texting her and trying to come up with clever things to say to her. So once you get some identification that she likes you a little bit, you can kind of just fan that flame of attraction, and really differentiate yourself because, like we talked about before, guys will, when they really like a girl, they're going to assign her to a different category and think that she's different than all the rest. And like we've talked about before, that's a trap. So you're going to be able to differentiate yourself if you cannot do, if you don't do that, and really check a lot of her boxes without really trying that hard. So if you're purpose driven, you're just naturally checking all her boxes and you don't have to be performative, and constantly try and come up with ways to get her to like you or not be yourself. So when you're just stable, not needy, and you handle yourself like a man who's just taking care of his own things, and she can feel that energy. She'll think, oh, this guy's got it together. Not just because that's attractive, because it's rare. Like I said, if this woman that you like has some high value attributes, she's going to be used to being pursued. She's going to be used to having men show an interest in her. So by not treating her super special, she'll start to see you as someone that's not going to get obsessed and weird with her, which is really important. So and in doing so, you differentiate yourself and you kind of become her escape, where you're not the same as someone who's just constantly nonstop pursuing her. And it's kind of a break in the action from her work, her bills, her pressure of needing to keep everything together. You can become someone who just gives her mind a break because you're fun, and she kind of associates you with that kind of mental freedom. And that can become an addiction for a lot of women. Okay. So next up, you're projecting certainty in everything you do. So you're calm, you're not getting rattled, you're not when you're driving to a date, you're not upset when someone cuts you off, if the valet is having trouble parking your car, you're not worried about it getting a dent in it. So you're not displaying the attributes of someone who's stressed and draining, where she constantly has to be thinking about what's going on with this guy. You know, you've taken care of your bills, your work's fine, you're smiling, and that kind of energy is addictive to where she's going to just feel relaxed because you're relaxed, and she sees you as stable, someone who has resources, someone who can take care of himself and probably be able to take care of her if you wanted to. So then that kind of switches the frame for her to try to convince you that maybe she's someone that you should let into her life. Okay, so and this part of it is really important. So you go into an interaction funny, unbothered, and you start dating her, and then everything changes. A lot of guys will start accommodating her, over texting her, agreeing with her, and you just kind of lose your edge. So the key is to keep that frame throughout and make that your dominant frame where you are focusing on yourself. You're not over investing her, because girls will pull away even deep into a dating sequence if you change who you are, or who you represented in the beginning. And this really is the hardest part for most guys, is just staying congruent from when you first meet her. Because she is going to test you. We'll get into that in other videos. And you can't break to give her validation. So that consistency builds respect, and she's going to know that you're not acting. Okay? And women are aware of that guys can pretend to be someone else for a short period of time, but if they press, they're going to break. So you want to stay the man she met, the one she respected, desired. And if you follow these 5 steps, they're not really about manipulation. They're just about calibrating your emotions so that you can be someone who gives her some excitement and some security. And I would argue that trying to be too nice and accommodating is actually more manipulative, because that's not who you are. That's not who a man should be, and it's probably not who you want to be. And if you want to learn more about this and take it deeper, you understand the psychology of attraction at a level most guys can never reach, then go check out the training, Magnetic Method. Links in the description. And just help you start understanding the language of women in a more strategic level. So, just to kind of wrap things up, that emotional calibration is going to be your power. Being willing to walk away, not treating her as something amazing, which is really the key, okay? To not treat her differently than any other woman. Be willing to offer to be friends with her if she gets completely crazy and starts, pressuring your frame and getting you out of your comfort zone, excessively testing you. You have to put distance and be willing to walk away. If you can do that, then you can create the attraction that she's actually looking for. So check out that training where, we go into this in even more granular detail to just rewire a female's desire and go step by step into more detail.